Let's talk about how to save your first $10,000. And no, we're not going to talk about the usual stuff of track your expenses, make a budget, all that stuff. No. I'm going to add something a little bit different to the conversation this time. All right? But before that, here's a quick word from our sponsors. All right?
Two topics that are absolutely taboo to talk about: money and porn. We already talk about one of those all the time on this channel, and today we're gonna break ground and start talking about the second one, and that is with porn, which is something that a lot of us struggle with, but we try to hide our struggles. And just like with money, when we try to hide something, it just gets worse and worse and worse, which is why in this video, I have partnered up with Covenant Eyes, which is a software that enables you to have those conversations with people around you who care and love you and want to see you get better. Covenant Eyes is a software that you can put on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on iOS devices, on Android devices, on every single devices, so that you can have screen monitoring, screenshot analysis, screenshot processing, and activity reporting to those people around you who you can have those uncomfortable conversations. Because like I like to say, we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that is the only way that we can actually achieve true freedom and actually see growth. Covenant Eyes enables me and has enabled me for years to have conversations with my friends, with my sister, with my brother about things that I am struggling with. It helps facilitate those conversations that can be hard to bring up because it can make us feel ashamed and it can make us feel bad. And so that's why when Covenant Eyes reached out to me and said, hey, we would like to sponsor a video, I was like, yes, because one, I already used the software. I had tried multiple other softwares and multiple other things. Those things were clunky. They broke down my computer. They didn't let me use my computer properly, but Covenant Eyes has been the best one that I have used, not just on my computer, but on my phone, on my tablet, on all my different devices that I use Covenant Eyes on. So if you want to check out Covenant Eyes, if you're struggling with this and you want to check out Covenant Eyes, I have a link down in my description for you to go download it, and you can try it for 14 days free. If you end up buying it and you don't like it, there is a money back guarantee. So if you are looking for a way to start having conversations with your friends, looking for a way to start finding resources of ways that you can talk about this thing that can be extremely difficult to talk about, go down in the description, click on Covenant Eyes, check it out, and start having this conversation so you can find true freedom. But that's all I got for this part. Let's get back to the show. Aight? Whoosh.
What's going on, people? It's your boy Kalichi, back with another video. If this is your first time around these parts, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy anything that we're talking about on this video, hit that like button. Turn that thing, say it with me now, blue. But anyway, like I said at the beginning of this video, we're gonna be talking about how to save your first $10,000. And there are three key things that I want all of us to keep in mind when we talk about this. Number one, incentives. Number two, limitations. And number three, accountability. Let's start with number one. Number one, incentives. When I was in high school, me and my mom did something that has completely changed the trajectory, or at least I believe it changed the trajectory of my life. So when I was in high school, I wasn't the best student. I wasn't the worst student. I was just kind of like lazy and about. I was just kind of like taking things easy because high school, in all honesty, for me was not that hard. But then my mom noticed it, and then she and I made a bet. So I wanted the Xbox 360. This was when the Xbox 360 first came out, and I wanted that console. I wanted it so bad. And she was like, okay, fine, Kalechi, I will get you the Xbox 360, but you gotta make all A's. And I said, wait, hold up a second. Are you being serious? If I make all A's, you gonna get me the 360. The reason why it was shocking is because one, my mom abhors video games. She hates it. She doesn't like video games at all. Like, she hates all of them. And so the fact that she was making this deal with me, I was like, I don't believe you. We need to make a contract. So we called all our siblings. I called all my siblings, called my dad, and we all sat down, and I was like, this is the agreement. If I make all A's, Ma has to give me this. And we signed like a document and everything. She had to sign, I had to sign. And it was a binding agreement. Like, she had to give me this thing if I made all A's. Needless to say, that year, I destroyed school. Like, you guys don't have any idea. I destroyed school. I did so well in school. Like, my teachers were like, whoa, this kid all of a sudden is doing, like, I did so well in school. Because why? She created an incentive to make me work harder, to make me focus, to make me get in line with what I needed to be doing. It created something that set me up, because then I learned the skills of how I studied the best, where I studied the best, what I needed to be doing in class, how to do my homework. All these things where all of a sudden I learned all these little minute details about myself. And it's the same way when it comes to our finances. We have to create certain incentives for us to keep pushing us to the next level and the next level and the next level. For example, for me, one of the incentives is every weekend, I'm gonna go out to eat. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna go to a restaurant or something like that, but I create room in my budget so I can go to like Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's, because it's an incentive to say, hey, I did A, B, and C, and now I deserve to get D. Create things that give you that good feelings to do things that otherwise will be difficult and uncomfortable to do. Let's move on to number 2. One thing you'll learn about me very quickly is I really love my mom. I really love my mom. Anybody who hangs out with me for about 2 to 3 seconds, I'm gonna mention my mom, a lesson that she's taught me, something that she's done that has stood out to me. Going back to the story of the video games, one of the things that my mom did is she put guardrails in place. I did have the Xbox 360. However, she put limitations on how much I could play the Xbox. She would be like, yo, Kelechi, you can only play it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can only play it for 2 hours at a go, and then you have to go do something else. Why did she put those things in there? Because all the good habits that I have built up could be completely destroyed because now I have this thing that I've always wanted. And so she had to put limitations, hard boundaries in place to ensure that I stayed on the right path. It's the same way with us with our finances. A lot of us just want to have this idea of I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. No, there are consequences whenever we do that. That's why it's important for us to put guardrails in place. That's why we use things like a budget to tell us, yo, I need to spend money here. Let me not spend money over here. We have to put limits on ourselves so that when we start making progress, we don't fall into the same holes, into the same mistakes that we've always been making. So put limitations. Even when you want to go eat out, put a limitation on yourself so that you're not going crazy out there. Even when you go out with your friends, put a limitation so that you don't overdo things and then put yourself in a precarious situation. Have boundaries, have limits. Limits are not bad. Limits actually help us to grow. They don't limit us, they help us grow. And finally, the last one. Accountability and conversation. One of the things I learned very early on when I was in high school, in order for me to make all the A's so I could get this Xbox, I had to find people who would hold me accountable to being successful. And so I surrounded myself with people who are smarter than me in school, people who I saw doing well. And so after every test we'll take in school, we'll be like, oh, what'd you make? What'd you make? What'd you make? What'd you make? And because when you start having those conversations, oh, I made a B, I made an A, I made an A, it's like, oh, what did you do? How did you get better about this? All of a sudden, even though we didn't know we're being accountable to each other, but because we're telling each other like, oh, this is how I studied. Oh, what did you do for that homework? How did you do that homework? We're being accountable without us even realizing that we're being accountable to one another. And then also it pushed conversation. It was like, yo, how did you study for this exam? How did you do this homework? How did you do this project? How did you write that paper? Have you done this yet? Have you done that? Both of those things coincide with each other to help you get to your goal faster. And so it's so important that we find people that we can be accountable to when it comes to our finances. That we can have these conversations with easily to be like, yo, man, I'm trying to save this money, but I can't figure it out. I can't seem to find the way to do this. Do you know any tips? Do you know any ways that I can go about this? Having conversations with people about things that are important to us tend to make those things come to us a lot easier. Because then it's like somebody can check in on you. Hey, man, it looks like you may be overspending too much, especially when it's people that are close to us and see how we're spending our money and know what we're trying to get to. They can be like, yo, what you spending money for? Like you said you were trying to save for a house. What you doing? Or it can be like, yo, I know you got a little bit of bread, so go enjoy yourself a little bit. It's on both sides. We need people who we can be so comfortable with that we can have in-depth and serious conversations about some of the more important things that we have going on in life. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all learned one, maybe two things out of this entire thing. Remember these 3 things whenever you're making a plan and doing mostly anything in life. 1, create incentives. Be like a dad who goes cuts the grass because he wants to get away from his children for a little bit. 2, have limitations in place. He can't just spend all day cutting the grass because guess what? The sun gonna kill him. 3, have accountability partners. Have people that you can talk to freely about these things that are important in your life. But I'm gonna catch y'all up on the next one. Remember, generosity is always greater than greed. God bless each and every single one of y'all.